Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday. We all know what Friday means. It means it's time for One Rental at a Time with Mike Zuber.
Yes, sir. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm hoping by next Friday I'm recording this in my new studio. Fingers crossed. But I realize you can't move desks and chairs in my car. My little two-seater car is not very efficient to move a desk. Oh, I gotta go rent a truck. Yeah, I'm not the smartest guy.
Wait a second. So that's not going to fit in the back of the SL.
No, won't fit in a Lambo either.
True story, but I got a truck. So yeah,
I do not.
And the worst part is that you're smart. You rent a truck, which means no one can be bothering you and borrowing and asking.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So the one that we wanted to kind of kick off today with in segment number 1 was your market, right?
Oh yes, I've been meaning to do this. I'm so happy. This might be the most important thing for new investors to really understand why.
Totally agree. This is something that, in the last month has been more and more apparent with the questions I'm being asked on live streams, when we do our Three Amigos together, what I see in the Three Amigos of FI, what I'm finding on Instagram at Lumberjack Landlord, all of those places, people are hitting me up with this. And what it really is, it is everybody's so willing and so anxious to find this amazing utopia market that's out there that gives you 20% return on even the worst deals. And hey, how do I find that market? Where's that market? All right, here's a newsflash, Mike. There isn't really one of those when you're a brand new investor that you're going to get that. That's something that happens over time because you get good at the game. So the issue is your market. Talk to me a little bit about that, because you've been doing One Rental at a Time now personally for 2 decades.
Yep.
But talk to me about what you're seeing from your students and the conversations that we're having on the Facebook live streams and such.
So there's I hope people are listening. I believe real estate investing is a skill. It's not something you're born with. I believe learning a skill that involves money is best learned close to home. Yes, I get it. You live in the Bay Area. You live in Beverly Hills. You live in Manhattan. You live in Hong Kong. I'm trying to think of the most pricey areas around where stuff doesn't cash flow. Guess what? I live in one of those markets as well, and I tried for a year. And I understand the appeal. I understand watching social media and somebody talking about a 20% deal in Ohio or Huntsville, Alabama, or Texas, or Mississippi, or Detroit, or wherever. And I know it is your dream, your wish to get started. You're attracted by the cheap price point. You're attracted by the cash on cash or yield. I get it. Trust me when I tell you, the skill of learning real estate investing is best done in your backyard. Don't try to get in the game as a brand new person and introduce risk by going out of state to learn. Right? Let's just say you live in Beverly Hills, because generally speaking, people realize Beverly Hills, California, 90210 is a crazy expensive market. If that is where you reside, first off, congrats.
I don't know why you're trying to invest in real estate.
Yeah, whatever. You've clearly figured something out. But here's the deal, right? I want you to learn the skill of real estate investing in Beverly Hills or within driving distance, right? Beverly Hills is actually rather small, but so somewhere you can get to in 30 minutes, get your buy box, get very focused. Look, because you got to kick rocks. You got to meet other local investors. You got to learn what you don't know. If you let the sexiness of an out-of-state market and an Excel spreadsheet tell you to buy something, you're going to miss something. You are going to get hurt. And then if you add the complexity of, I'm going to brrr, I couldn't believe this. The other day, I had somebody call me up saying, I live in the Bay Area, where I reside. I'm going to brrr in Ohio. And I'm like, great. How many times have you done it? Never. Oh. I've already written offers. I'm like, are you freaking kidding? I hope you don't get those.
Yeah.
Because you're most of the time going to lose. And the worst thing is you actually win the first time and then you get really stupid and you double up and triple up. I mean, yeah, sometimes you go to a casino and you win the first time. It's like, the worst thing that could happen to you. But I won the first time. Oh my God.
Hooked for life.
You're hooked for life. Yeah, I remember when. I remember that feeling. But yeah, dude, real estate investing is a skill.
Yes.
Skills are best learned close to home. It's not about finding the market first. It's about you becoming a better investor first.
That's right.
That's what's first, not the market. The market is sexy. The market is energy. The market is cheap. The market is yield. No, you get better first. Learn in your backyard, please. I'm not saying buy in your backyard,
right?
But don't just think it's not there. Dude, I live in the top 3 expensive parts of the country. I can get in my car and drive 2.5 hours and find a market that's been awesome to me. It allowed me to retire out of MLS-based deals. No off market, no driving for dollars, no mailers. I was in Hong Kong writing deals, in Australia and Brazil. It can be done. People want the answer to be somewhere else. And I would tell you the answer is often a lot closer to home. But at a minimum, learn the skill. And then once you got the skill and you want to disqualify Beverly Hills, go somewhere else. But start local, please.
Yes. So not only would I say, so I totally agree with that. Not only would I say, and I think that it gets an answer to a lot of folks that had that question. I think the other piece of this too is not only learn all these skill sets locally, because it's A, the best way to do it. B, it's the safest. C, it's the least expensive. Yeah. But then once you get out of that specific asset class that you created a buy box around, look at the other asset classes. Just because single families don't work doesn't mean 2s or 3s or 4s don't work. Yep. It might not mean, maybe you have $150,000 that you've saved up to put down on a house or on a first investment property. You might be able to get a large apartment building with that, with some special terms. Who knows? So you must, the most important thing is learning the skill. You know, there's a reason why a lot of millionaires will go bankrupt once or twice.
Yeah, exactly.
And they learn all the lessons. And then the third one, it's a moonshot, right? Or you find guys that got lucky with an idea, what you find on like something like a Shark Tank. They had a great product, but they didn't have a good company. And so they crushed it on the product, and the product was great, but there was nothing after that product that they did anything with, because there was a product idea. It wasn't a company idea. Right. And so it's much the same with real estate investing. I agree with you 100%. It absolutely is a skill, number one. Number two, and one of the things that I think so many people miss is assets. Look at multiple different asset classes in your market, in your personal market, because the easiest money to make is finding an asset class that performs close to home.
Yeah.
I always tell people do what's inspected, not what's expected. So like if they know this beautiful beard is showing up and they have no idea when, they're usually working a little bit harder. They're not taking 2-hour lunches. They're not cutting out at 2 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah.
That's something that's really important. And it's not to say that all contractors are bad, but there are plenty that do that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have that happen. You want to make sure that people are billing you for what they're billing you for. It's really hard. And it's a completely different skill set to building a remote team. I think Mike has some advantages in building a remote team because he ran sales organizations, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
around the world. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff, translates. And so it is tough to build. It is tough to build teams. In fact, I had some decent properties with decent yields. I'd say okay to decent yields. And I gave up on them because I could not get the team in that region right.
Yeah.
The ones that I could afford weren't good enough. The ones that I couldn't afford them. So it didn't matter if they were good enough or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's what people really have to focus on, is don't only be focused on a buy box or finding the best property in some other distant land or state or whatever might be favorable. Do your local homework first, pick the asset, as Mike talks about, building your buy box, really understanding that. And then if that buy box tells you the story that asset doesn't perform, move on to the next asset. Don't just move out of the town. Don't just move out of the city. Look at the next asset.
I find it so amazing. And this comes, again, I'm helping thousands of people now in the course, how to get started one rental at a time. I find it so amazing how people so quickly give up on doing the work and just trust some person they never met on the internet. Well, how do you know that Huntsville or Detroit or, I don't know, Tallahassee or whatever, just because one person said that they're crushing it out there, I don't know why people give up so fast. The one thing that I've always had in me is I'm going to trust myself. Right. If it goes bad, it's on me. I don't want to say, well, so-and-so did me bad. No, I'm the idiot that listened, right? So
Worst.
I don't know why people give up so fast.
Yeah, I think worse because it's easier to believe, when they hear returns like you get or returns like I get, it's easy to go, well, I'm just going to go do business where Lumberjack's doing business. Yeah, I mean, you can bring your game, but remember, in every single year, you're going to be competing against me. And if you won a deal, it's because I didn't think the numbers worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I got an off-market deal yesterday. It got floated to me and I read it and I just wrote the guy back and I said, are these the actual numbers?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, why? I go, the guy's like 200 high. Yeah. I said, he's literally 20% high. He wants $1 million. They're worth 8. Yeah. And I said, and that's not even wholesale. That's retail. They're worth 8.
Yeah.
Said, wholesale, they're worth more like 7.25.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's, again, I want to go back to how we opened this. The desire, the interest, the sexiness of going out of state, cheap. Again, you can go broke buying cheap.
Yes.
Second, Excel spreadsheets lie.
Yes.
Right. Just because it says 12 doesn't mean it's 12. Please bet on yourself. Do the work. Focus. Daily discipline. As you know, it's rule number 1 and number 2 that we looked over yesterday. Everything I talk about. Build confidence in yourself, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, focus, daily discipline, looking at your market, mastering the craft, at least master the first step. You have to. That is the step. If you don't have a good foundation, it will collapse. It will collapse. You want 30-year fixed rate debt on an asset that performs. Mm-hmm. And if it's not there in that asset class, look at the next asset class and the next and the next. And then once you've done all that homework and you can disqualify your market, then by all means disqualify that market. And then it doesn't matter, to Mike's point, then it doesn't matter kind of whichever direction you're going, so long as you can get there and back in a day, if it's somehow some people gauge it or jumping on and, going on a plane and going somewhere, but you're going to have to be in that territory. If you don't like flying or can't account for those expenses or for that time, that's a problem. I know a bunch of investors that are, spread out in 5 states and they have 12 properties.
Yeah, I mean, that is very concerning. I've not met anybody that's done that for a long time and not had some horror stories.
Yeah.
Right. If you can't, it's certainly it's not like if you have 500 units and you're in 4 places. Okay. But when you got 4 properties in 4 different states, I got news for you. Somebody's stealing.
100%.
Yeah.
And work is probably not being done right. Like, it's like, forget it. Because again, people do what's inspected, not what's expected. Yeah. So that's a big key. Mike, where can everybody find you, my friend?
One rental at a time. Put that in the trusty Google search bar. You should see books, Instagram, YouTube channel. We go live 8 a.m. tomorrow or 8 a.m. Saturday, Pacific time for an hour. So good times. It's always a good show. There's always lots of people watching. I mean, been killing it recently. Almost 100 viewers on Saturdays. Yeah, sometimes. It's fun. That's fantastic. It's a good time. I know that we're always there watching it as a family. Thank you. I'm just trying to explain what the words mean to the kids. So. Well, that's where it all. Hey, man, I wish somebody would introduce these concepts to me at 5 or 6 years old. You and me both. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Bring kicks back because she's only 2.5, but whatever. Just like, right. This is important. You need to understand what amortization is. Pay attention. So, Mike, thanks so much for the time. Look forward to segment number 2. You got it.